Hypercritical, comedian Matthew Murray, episode 17, recorded October 5th. Hey, how are you? I am flying solo tonight. The delightful Melissa Murray gone back to her YouTube channel, A Melissa Moment. Thought I might have a guest tonight, but no, did not happen that way. So you got me. It is October 5th. I am trying some Sober October. Now, that's Sober October not in terms of alcohol, just sober second thought. Trying to review myself as a human being and start doing the things I want to do and stop doing the things I don't want to do. And one thing I want to do, I want to be in my office. I cannot tell you how happy I am to be back here recording in my office. Other than being home with my family, because that's the obligatory thing I have to say. You have to say, well, the happiest place I've ever been is anywhere my wife and my daughter is. You have to say that. Just like, oh, the greatest day of my life was the day my daughter is born. And yes, that's true, usually, and it is for me, but you have to say it. So I'll just say it. Other than being home with my family or on vacation or on stage or any of half a dozen places, my favorite place to be is in my office. This thing is unbelievable. I rent out a private piece of office space at Wall Street Common. Not an advertisement. They did not ask me to shout them out. Their worldview probably a lot different than mine. But as far as co-work facilities in Saskatoon go, phenomenal. If you're looking for short-term, long-term office space, highly recommend here at Wall Street Common. I've got a private little office. I have everything I need in life in this box. My delightful wife, in a fantastic video she did on her YouTube channel, when I got the lease for this space, now, the office itself, I've got access to boardrooms. They have coffee here every day. The staff at the front, they're amazing, wonderful people. But my little office is private. And man, I don't even know how to measure things. Like 10 by 4, like a little box. Like enough room for a desk and a table, and not even two chairs. Like two chairs if one is on opposite side of the other of the desk. It is small in here. At a glance, it would be cramped. But I gave my wife a $500 budget. And I said, look, I'm traveling for a couple of weeks. Go on Amazon, or maybe buy a cheap used desk on Marketplace or something. Put up a couple of pictures. And I came back to a fully furnished suite where she managed to put up everything on the wall that means something to me personally and professionally. A brand new desk that she assembled herself. A wonderful office chair, enough storage space for all the things I need on a day-to-day basis, all the pens and paper and office supplies I could possibly need. And a couple weeks later, there was a midnight move here, and I managed to secure a little mini fridge. I could realistically stay in this box 4 months, easy. 4 months. And another nice thing about it is it's not facing the outside of the building. So no windows, which I know a lot of people are like, oh, I want a window. Someday I'm going to upgrade to a cubicle I can see the parking. I don't want to see outside. I'm working. I'm here in my office. I got things to do. So I'm here. I'm where I'm happy. I can hear it in my voice. I can feel it in my energy. I am 5 days into a sober October where I've worked out every single day so far except today. Now today's Saturday. There was a plan to go to the gym today, but I did get a home workout in, and now I've unexpectedly got a short guest spot on stage tonight. So I'm going to count that as a workout of sorts, but for 4 days in a row, I worked out hard. Already the body's feeling a little bit better, and when you're working out, you don't want to take in quite so much junk because it's just counterbalancing what you're doing, and it feels good. It feels good to be here in my office. That is amazing. It's in downtown Saskatoon, which is just horrible. Like Saskatoon is like a donut. Everything good is on the outside and you come into the middle and it's a hole. It is a huge hole of sadness. And the city of Saskatoon has no idea what to do with it. And what's interesting is here in Saskatoon, we're starting a mayoral election. Am I saying that right? Mayoral? Mayor. Mayoral, that's a weird word. Anyway, they had an open debate Four candidates, not an open debate. They had pre-assigned questions. They had a moderated way of doing it, which was not adhered to as a plan. It was pretty laughable to see the guy lay out a 5 or 7 minute speech about what all the rules were going to be, who can talk and who can rebut who and who can rebut when. And then within 15 minutes realizing, all that format stuff we created is really boring. Let's just let people up here argue and fight with each other. And all the rules and decorum went out the window. We have 4 people running for mayor in Saskatoon. One, a former mayor who is an accomplished speaker, and 3 just throwing stuff against the wall to see what happens. And it's amazing to me. And I like following politics, but this will not ever become a huge politics podcast and this and Republicans, Trump. Now, I'm not that interested. In my opinion, we're all just kind of ruled and owned. Democracy is kind of a sham in general. Municipal level, maybe you can influence something, maybe once in a while. But I was amazed to watch these very old people. Now, I'm old, but these old people stand up there and be really bad at getting elected. Getting elected is 2 jobs, okay? There's the job of being the mayor, and there's the job of getting elected to be mayor. And they're very different jobs. Like just getting a job, like a job interview, doesn't matter what job you're going for. If you do a job interview to be an architect or a data scientist or whatever, you need a completely different skill set to get hired for that job than to do that job. They don't usually sit you down and go, okay, we want to watch you data science for 6 hours, and then we'll decide if we want you or not. Sometimes they do that. But to be a mayor, other than like be doing mayoral things like ignoring minority groups and taking bribes, you have to pretend to be listening to people, and you have to be good at public speech. You have to sway people. You have to sound convincing. And I watched the 3 of these candidates, and I'm looking up there, and I can just tell every night when they go to bed, they're looking in the mirror. They're like, man, if they would just let me be mayor, I have so many good ideas on what I would do different and how I would show them that there's a better system. And I probably would get corrupt like all the other ones, and I don't even know how long I'd last. But geez, I sure could make a difference for my city if I became mayor. And they look in the mirror and they think all that. And then to watch them be completely unable to articulate their ideas or convince anyone that they should get the job is so disheartening. And to see that several of them have absolutely no social media presence, have done next to nothing to campaign other than generic Canva images. Here's me holding a sandwich. If you like sandwiches, vote for me. One of the 3 has actually got some decent social media. But the problem with them is they're already on city council. So they're wearing the failures of the city council in terms of trying to be a mayor. Hey, look what a shit job I did as a councillor. But if you'd let me be mayor, I'd do way better. So she's toast. The other 2 are so woefully out of touch. Not woefully out of... I bet you they know a lot about what would be good for this city. And I bet you they have a lot of great opinions and great people around them, but they're woefully out of touch with what it takes to get elected. That I'm just going to enjoy sitting back, having a beverage, and watching everything crash and burn. I'm really bad. It got pointed out to me a little while ago that just people do not like unsolicited advice. And the problem is the people who need advice the most think they're really good at their job. So if you give them advice, they're like, what are you fucking doing? I've been doing this job 15 years. Why are you giving me any advice? Who are you? Whatever. They don't want to hear it. And often the people who need that advice, who need that sober second opinion or that outside set of eyes, they don't get it. Like, here's a good example. I'm very funny. So I'm a stand-up comedian. But being a stand-up comedian is a different set of standards and business practices than when I got in. When I got in, it was just, how much time do you have? How much can you cover? How funny are you? Are you clean? Are you dirty? Who has seen you before? It's a completely different hiring criteria now. So I cleaned up my social media this year, and now I'm going to be doing some digital advertising on digital billboards all over Saskatchewan. And it was a wonderful platform that allowed me to buy this advertising, and I got stuck in the mud. It was like, okay, well, this ad has to be this resolution and this many pixels and this side. And do you want to be in doctor's offices, or do you want to be on street billboards? And do you want to run around the clock, or do you, and I was like, and my ADHD was just taking over. I was just, nah, detail, bad, no, lot, nah. So I did something smart. I admitted I'm not good at this. I reached out to someone who has training in social media and in marketing and in calendars and all of that stuff, and they sat with me and got me through the process. Now, I didn't learn it to a point where now I'm an expert at it, because I have no real desire to go down that road. But I can tell you, working with them for 2 hours, we didn't come up with anything that I couldn't have come up with on my own, but it would have taken me 10 hours or 2 days to get frustrated, put it down, pick it up, realize I got to get this done, work at it for another 3 hours, put it down, get frustrated, look up some information. The person probably made my ads 30% better visually, and made the process, they probably shaved 10 hours off of it. What got done in about 2.5 hours probably would have taken me 2 days. And not because I'm not competent. I can adjust a little slider bar and put my credit card number into a system, but I'm willing to collaborate with others who know more than me. So if you're in Saskatoon, you know any of the mayoral candidates, or you work for, just tell them you're missing it, because they don't want my unsolicited advice, and they don't really care. I mean, that is another good thing about being a politician. You have to pretend you care. And I don't get the impression from any of them that they're doing a good job of pretending to care. So best of luck to all of them. I'm looking forward to watching it, and we'll see where it comes. I tell you, I'm looking forward to figuring out a few things. There was a stat that came out recently that the median, now not the average, there's a difference between average and median. I don't know if it was average or median, but the in general, because I don't want to misquote it and have someone be like, that's not actually what the survey said. But in general, the average income or wage or salary in every single state in the United States is higher than the average of every single province in Canada. And that's already adjusting for the difference in the dollar. So just burger flipper in Missouri to burger flipper in Saskatoon, you're better off in the States. Now, I know there's 1,000 other factors in there. How much does it cost to live? How much is inflation? All that other nerd shit that doesn't matter all that much. But on a base level, America pays more. And if there's one thing that COVID and working via home and working from remote and hiring overseas is showing me, is there's not, while I have tremendous ties to Saskatoon physically, got a great house here, family, that's it, really, that is it. It's funny because I was going to go on this huge list of wonderful things that physically tie me to Saskatoon, and that's it really, is that my daughter's in a good school here, and we're waiting for family members to enjoy their golden years. And that's really all that's holding us to Saskatoon. So interesting. Maybe I'm talking myself into moving in this podcast. But in general, for the short term, can't go anywhere. Roots are in too deep. But that doesn't stop me from making more money for places that pay more for the same type of work. So that was a very sobering statistic to see. I think I've always classified myself as a Calgarian living in Saskatoon. And Calgary is very much like Texas, and Saskatoon is very much like the caveman days. I love it here, but I've always felt I'm a little behind the curve or ahead of the curve here. So I'm worried that I'm finally starting to acclimatize to Saskatchewan, and that's not a good thing. I don't mean to be disrespectful about it, but that's not a good thing. I heard a good thing on Rogan's podcast recently, and they were talking, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's always couched in testosterone, but the idea of an alpha male versus a beta male, and the one defining characteristic that I really enjoyed that they said was, an alpha male just speaks his opinion. And I don't want to be disrespectful about it, but he says what he thinks. A beta male will pause before everything he says and goes, will this be accepted? Who will like this? Who will dislike this? And that's really creeped into a lot of my comedy. It's creeped into a lot of my business think. It's even creeping into the podcast a little bit. This is, if there's ever one place where I don't have to censor myself, it's here. So yeah, in general, I love Saskatchewan. Great people, shirt off your back, wonderful. Just slow to adopt new ideas, slow to adopt new technologies, and it's great. Canada in general is not. I heard this. I don't know if you've noticed, October 5th, 2024, we're recording this, things not so great in the Middle East right now. Little tension over there. And what we did is we sent some planes over to Lebanon and had to say in the media, hey, Canadians living abroad in Lebanon and war-torn areas, there are planes. We strongly suggest coming back to Canada, because where you are is kind of blowing up. And half the planes were empty. Now, take out of the equation, hey, I'm not going to leave because my family's here. I'm not going to leave because I'm a freedom fighter. Okay, there's definitely a percentage of people who are never going to leave no matter what. But half a plane, I think 1 or 2 empty seats would make sense. But there is a number. Let's say, so maybe they said 5 planes, probably 50, 70 seats per plane. I would say 300-ish empty seats. I'm just going to guess. That's just me making up numbers out of the air. 300 people that could have taken a seat. They go, rockets flying through the air and buildings collapsing, or go back to Canada. Well, I mean, there were no rockets on my block today. So that's pretty crazy when people just don't want to be here that bad. Like, that just blew my mind. It was nuts. Couldn't believe it. Want to take a quick moment and chill here, guys. With October 5th, the Christmas calendar is about 60% filled, but we do have Who's we? There's no we, it's me. I do have still some Christmas corporate dates available, some Fridays and some Saturdays. Everyone seemed to want November 30th this year, so I've booked a whole bunch of other guys into other shows to help out my fellow comedians. Because if there's one thing they do is they're always calling me to give me gigs. But I've still got some dates available. MatthewMurray.ca. None of this political. That is somewhere where I will do my show. That's a job. That's where I'm getting paid to make people happy. That is the product. That is what you get. Podcast. This is me, straight up all the time. If you want the Matthew straight up version, you can have it. But rest assured, corporate clean in the shows, available for bookings, etc. What else did I have to talk here about? How to become mayor. Office is awesome. Oh, there is a tremendous number of jaywalkers in Saskatoon. A lot of pedestrians crossing at non-corners, non-intersections. All I'm going to say is if you're crossing the road and you're going against traffic, you should be attractive. That's a very good rule of thumb for jaywalking. If you're so hot that traffic will stop for you, go ahead. Walk across the road. Make everyone's day better. But if you're not attractive, then jaywalking is just asking for it. So before you jaywalk, think to yourself, like, if I saw someone as hot as me walking down the road, would I rubberneck as that person as I went by them? Or would I, be thinking more about the damage to my vehicle? Because there are some ugly jaywalkers here. My goodness. It is crazy. Well, guys, I've got a spot here to do a little bit later tonight. I've survived my wife's birthday. The birthday pressure is nuts as you keep going. My wife is relatively low maintenance, very material. She's a material girl, and that's fine. And men just want to survive. We just want to survive Valentine's. We just want to survive your birthday. We just want to survive your anniversary. We want to just do so bad, not so bad that this goes on the list of dates we screwed up. That's my goal. If I can get through and it wasn't bad, that's good. That's a win. And I think that's where I hit for the birthday this year. It wasn't that bad. And now I got the anniversary. This is a crazy month, October, for me, because we got my wife's birthday, we got my daughter's birthday, we got our anniversary, we got Thanksgiving, we got Halloween, we've got all kinds of school things going on for my daughter. This month is just nuts. And I'm over the first hurdle. I'm over the birthday. Thank God I survived that. I will be enjoying more of the Saskatoon mayor debates and the joke that is the bike lanes and everything that comes with living in Saskatoon. And, that's it. Some podcasts, they go 3 hours because they like to say things they've said in previous podcasts. I like Rogan. I like all these guys that go 3 hours. But I can't tell you how many times, Rogan's going to do his rant on MMA. Always going to do his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu story. Always going to, I would rather say what's going on, say what's fresh and new, and run 20 to 30 minutes rather than fill this with 2.5 hours of rambling back and forth with someone else. So I'm signing off for now. I should have a better sign-off line, but this is me, Hypercritical comedian Matthew Murray, saying have a good one.